Did a single, silent gesture just rewrite a love story the world thought it understood? Or are we witnessing the birth of the most misunderstood rumor of the decade? It began without an announcement. No press conference. No official statement. No carefully worded message released through an agency. It began with an absence. A ring that was once there, suddenly gone. And in the hyper-observant world of celebrity culture, absence speaks louder than words. If you are still watching, subscribe. Let's get the story started as the world of your favorite celebrity unfolds.
Stay tuned.
Song Hye Kyo, an icon carved into the history of Korean drama, a woman whose every public appearance is dissected frame by frame, stepped into the public eye once more. Cameras flashed. Fans watched. And then someone noticed it. Her hand.
Bare.
The ring that had fueled endless speculation, romantic fantasies, and whispered theories was no longer there. And just like that, a question detonated across the internet. Has Song Hye Kyo removed Lee Min-ho's ring? And if she has, what does it mean? For months, the rumored connection between Song Hye Kyo and Lee Min-ho has lived in a strange space between fantasy and belief. Two titans of Korean entertainment, both private, both guarded, both powerful enough to make silence feel intentional. No confirmations. No denials. Just moments. Coincidences. Overlapping schedules. Familiar jewelry. Glances that fans swore lingered too long. Smiles that seemed too knowing to be accidental. The ring became the centerpiece of it all. A simple object transformed into a symbol. To some, it was proof. To others, it was hope. To many, it was the quiet promise of a love story unfolding behind closed doors.
Until now.
Because when a ring disappears, the imagination rushes in to fill the void. Was it a quiet separation? A private ending to something the public was never meant to fully see? Or was it never what fans believed it to be in the first place? Could a piece of jewelry, magnified by expectation, have carried a meaning it was never meant to hold? Social media erupted within minutes. Screenshots circled. Old photos resurfaced. Videos were slowed down, zoomed in, analyzed like evidence in a courtroom drama. Every past appearance was re-examined. Every smile reinterpreted. Every interview replayed with new suspicion. Fans asked the question no one could answer. Are they divorced? But divorced from what, exactly? A confirmed relationship never acknowledged. A marriage never announced. A bond that existed largely in the space between imagination and longing. And yet, the emotional reaction was real. Because Song Hye Kyo is not just a celebrity. She is a symbol of grace, of resilience, of love stories that feel too real to be scripted. Her past relationships have taught fans one thing above all else. When she loves quietly. And when things end, they end without spectacle, which is why this moment feels different. The removal of a ring is not loud. It does not demand attention. It does not scream for headlines. It simply exists. And in that quiet, the world leans in closer. Lee Min-ho, equally private, equally careful, has remained silent. No posts. No clarifications. No visible change. And in celebrity culture, silence is never neutral. It is interpreted. It is theorized. It is turned into narrative. Some believe this is the end of something that was carefully hidden from the start. Others believe it is nothing more than coincidence. A styling change. A personal decision. A ring that meant something entirely different. But here's the truth that makes this story linger. If there was something real, it was protected. If there was something fragile, it was shielded from the noise. And if something has changed, it is unfolding far away from the spotlight. What fans are reacting to is not just a missing ring. It is the fear of another beautiful story ending before it was ever allowed to begin. In the world of celebrities, where love is often performed and heartbreak is monetized, Song Hye Kyo has always chosen dignity over drama. If there is a shift in her life, it will not be explained in captions or confirmed in headlines. It will simply be lived. And that may be the most painful part for fans. because there may never be an answer. No confirmation. No denial. No clear ending or beginning. Just a moment that invites questions and refuses to resolve them.
So are they divorced?
Or were we all witnessing a story we wanted so badly that we mistook hope for reality? One ring removed, one silence maintained, and a world left wondering whether love quietly walked away or whether it was never standing there to begin with. Sometimes the most shocking turns are not revealed by words, but by what quietly disappears. And yet the story does not end with a missing ring. In many ways, that was only the opening scene. Because when a symbol disappears, attention shifts to everything else that remains. Body language,
Timing.
choices, silence. And in the days that followed, every move made by Song Hye Kyo was watched with a new intensity, as if the world was searching for a crack in her composure, a hint of sorrow, a trace of closure. But what they found instead was calm. No visible distress. No emotional statements hidden in interviews. No carefully curated sadness. She appeared poised, composed, almost untouched by the storm raging around her name. And that composure only deepened the mystery. If this was heartbreak, why did it look so controlled? If this was separation, why was there no echo of it? And if this was never real, why did its absence feel so heavy? History offers a clue. Song Hye Kyo has lived through public love before. She knows what it means to have a relationship placed under a microscope, reduced to headlines, stripped of privacy. She knows how quickly admiration can turn into intrusion. And she knows that the more you explain, the more the world demands. Perhaps that is why this moment feels different. There is no attempt to correct the narrative. No effort to steer the conversation. Just silence. Intentional. Absolute. And silence, in its own way, becomes a statement. Meanwhile, fans began connecting dots that may or may not exist. They noticed the timing, the recent projects, the lack of overlap, the subtle shift in styling, the absence of shared spaces where paths once seemed destined to cross. Each observation layered onto the next, building a story that felt convincing simply because it was detailed. But detail does not equal truth. In the age of digital obsession, speculation moves faster than facts. A rumor repeated often enough becomes belief. And belief, when fueled by emotion, becomes reality to those who want it to be. Lee Min-ho's silence only added fuel to the fire. No ring sightings. No public gestures. No coded messages. Just a steady continuation of life as usual. To some, it looked like confirmation. To others, it looked like protection. Protection of what, though? A relationship ending. A private bond never meant for the public. Or simply personal boundaries being tested by a narrative that grew too loud. What makes this story endure is not evidence. It is possibility. Two people powerful enough to keep something hidden. Two careers mature enough to withstand rumors. Two personalities known for restraint rather than exhibition. If there was something real, it would never have been loud. And if it ended, it would never be dramatic. Which brings us back to the ring. Was it ever a promise? Was it a gift? Was it a coincidence elevated by collective longing? The truth may be painfully simple, or impossibly complex. And perhaps the real shock is not the idea of divorce, but the realization of how desperately the world wants a fairy tale, even when the characters never agreed to tell one. Because at the heart of this frenzy is not scandal. It is yearning. Fans yearning for a love story untouched by chaos. A pairing that feels timeless. A narrative that heals rather than wounds. Song Hye Kyo and Lee Min-ho represented that hope. Elegance. Maturity. A romance that felt earned rather than manufactured. And when that hope trembles, the reaction is fierce. But love, real love, does not exist to satisfy an audience. If Song Hye Kyo removed a ring, it was her decision alone. Not a teaser. Not a clue. Not an invitation to speculate. Just a choice made in a life that belongs to her, not the world watching. And maybe that is the quiet lesson hidden inside this moment. Not every love story is meant to be witnessed. Not Every ending needs an explanation. Not every symbol carries the meaning we assign to it. Sometimes, the most dramatic stories are not the ones unfolding loudly on screen, but the ones happening silently, off camera, where dignity is preserved and truth remains untouched by noise. The ring is gone, the silence remains, and the question still hangs in the air, unanswered. Was this the end of a hidden chapter? Or simply the moment the world realized it was never meant to read it at all? And until the truth chooses to reveal itself, if it ever does, this story will remain suspended between reality and imagination. A reminder that in the lives of stars, the most powerful moments are often the ones we are never meant to fully understand.